Hello gamers, this is Sai and welcome back to Which Way Games. It's cheat time for gaming, or as some gamers would say, assisting to win.
Yes! I am invincible!
And with that being said, let's get on with the video. Cheating in video games has been around since the beginning of gaming. Sometimes cheats are used by game developers to access parts of a game without having to play all the way through, as well as rewarding gamers for finishing parts of a game within certain limits that make up the game's code. Cheats can even be glitches that are purposely left in a game by the developer so they can be exploited by gamers, providing gamers actually find them. Nowadays, if gamers want to look for a cheat, there's the internet at the touch of a button. But back in the day, if gamers wanted to cheat, they'd have to either find them in a video games magazine or have a cheat book. If gamers had one of these cheat books, they would become oracles of gaming. Other gamers who were having trouble beating a game or couldn't get past a certain part would ask these oracles of gaming for advice or even a cheat code. I'm lucky enough to have been donated a cheat book by one of my subscribers, so big thank you to them. Clearly Samira is doing her research too, but what's her favourite cheat? Anyway, it's time to check out my top 10 cheats in gaming. Let's do this. Starting this list with probably the most well-known cheat in gaming, the Konami code is infamous for gamers. Originally used in 1986 for Gradius on the NES, this code became popular by gamers because of Contra. The Konami code would later be dubbed as the Contra code. The sequence of up, up, down, down, left, right, BA star would give gamers 30 lives in Contra instead of 3. The Konami code can be used for a number of games from Konami, and even some games from different developers, as well as being entered into websites with some amusing results. For a code being made over 30 years ago, it's nice to see it appear in popular culture, such as films, TV series, and more modern games. Now, I could have put this cheat higher on the list, but that would have been too obvious, but I might have to come back to the Konami code in later videos. DK mode is most remembered for appearing in the Nintendo 64 classic known as GoldenEye. Gamers can unlock DK mode if the runway mission is completed on Agent in less than 5 minutes for the first person shooter. DK mode is a shout out to a previous series of games that Rare worked on, this being the Donkey Kong Country series. Enemies as well as James Bond would have large heads and long arms, mimicking the look of Donkey Kong. This cheat is great for making headshots easier in the main game, but it's multiplayer where DK mode is most enjoyable. And the fun factor is increased when gamers try to hide from each other, especially in the facility missions. But remember though, odd job is off limits in multiplayer. Mortal Kombat is known for a few things, but it's most known for gore, fatalities and blood. Lots and lots of blood, but not in the home console versions of Mortal Kombat, especially for the Super Nintendo. This was due to heavy censorship and controversy at the time. However, Sega left the blood in their version, but gamers would have to input AB, AC, ABB on the Code of Honor screen. Now gamers could play Mortal Kombat how it should be played, with lots of blood, gore and plenty of fatalities. With a history of extreme violence, there's no better way of playing Mortal Kombat. Gamers could revel in pounding the opponent's face into a bloody mess, and what better way to win the match by ripping the spine out of your enemy or setting fire to them. Saving Hyrule in Princess Zelda seems to be an ongoing thing for the silent protagonist gamers know as Link. With the original Legend of Zelda considered to be one of the classics of 8-bit gaming, gamers are always looking for new challenges and experiences when playing. When gamers beat the Legend of Zelda, they'll unlock the second quest, which has a high difficulty setting, new dungeon locations, as well as all the other items being moved around. However, if gamers wanted to unlock the harder mode from the get-go, this can be done on the save slot screen. Instead of putting a random name, gamers can input the name of Zelda and unlock the harder second quest. Obviously, it does become a bit confusing when Zelda has to save Zelda. Sadly though, there is no Navi in this adventure. Probably known as one of those cheats that could either help gamers beat a game or ruin the journey, Level Selected's up there with other great cheats like all weapons and invisibility. One great way of using this cheat is with Capcom's Ghosts and Goblins for the NES. If gamers want to jump straight to stage 7 of this extremely difficult game, they can do this by going to the title screen, hold down right on the D-pad and pressing the B button 3 times and then press up on the D-pad. Release the D-pad and again press the B button 3 times, then press left on the D-pad and release, followed by pressing the B button 3 times again, then press down on the D-pad and release, then press the B button another 3 times, and then lastly, press the start button. If done correctly, gamers can access any part of Ghosts and Goblins, although playing the game is much more fun. Pokemon is one of those gaming series known the world over, and sees gamers start out an adventure to capture and train the many Pokemon of the world. Another goal is to catch them all, including the legendary Mewtwo and Mew. However, gamers managed to manipulate the original Pokemon Red, Blue and Yellow with a glitch known as Missing No. This glitch would allow gamers to capture Missing No, and the 6th item in gamers' bags would be multiplied. Always handy for obtaining more than 100 Master Balls. Do this glitch, go to the northern part of Viridian City and watch the old man's demonstration on how to catch a Pokemon. Then fly to Cinnabar Island, surf up and down along the east coast of the island touching both the water and land until Missing No appears. However, Missing No may or may not show up depending on the name gamers use for the save slot, but the risk of using this glitch is that the save slot can be corrupted and gamers could lose everything. Although, can gamers find the original Mew in Pokemon Red, Blue and Yellow? Gamers will know that the Metal Gear series is all about sneaking past the enemy and avoiding confrontation. In Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, gamers will play as Naked Snake. However, there will be times when Snake will have to deal with an enemy with sneaking skills that are on par with his. When dealing with one of the bosses known as the End, gamers will be in for long and lengthy battle and may die multiple times. Now gamers can either practice until they eventually defeat the deadly sniper, or they can play around with time. If gamers save the game, then quit, they can either not play Snake Eater for a week or go into the time settings in the PS2 and move the date forward in time. When reloading the save file, gamers will be shown a cutscene where Snake finds the End, but the cyber has passed away from old age. Not the best way to win a battle. With a series that helped start the open sandbox genre, GTA is deemed by gamers to be one of the must-have game series for any gaming platform. And having this freedom is made better by the input of cheats. However, with so many to choose from a great lineup of GTA games, especially Vice City, choosing just one proves to be quite difficult. However, gamers are encouraged to roam around and create as much havoc as possible, and what better way to do this is with an all weapons cheat, flying cars and the infamous tank cheat. Having an unstoppable vehicle, plenty of ammo and the ability to fly will make gamers smile when dealing with the local police and the enemies. Obviously with such power comes great responsibility, but at the same time it's fun to create such destruction. What is the best GTA cheat? When it comes to manipulating a great game series, Sonic the Hedgehog comes to mind. Most of the Sonic games on the Mega Drive have the option to select the debug menu with the correctly inputted code. Like Sonic 2 for example, accessing debug mode, gamers will have to go to the sound test menu and play tracks 19921124. Now gamers will be able to play through the game, create new levels, new enemies and generally have a whole new gaming experience. Like starting the game as Super Sonic or even have Dr. Robotnik be the main character. Dr. Robotnik could be on a mission to save Mobius from the blue hedgehog known as Sonic, or even Tails, or maybe, just maybe, a life box. However, I think I'll just stick with Sonic the Hedgehog. Why mess with perfection? What better cheat is there than God Mode? In the Doom series, this cheat can be turned on by accessing the console and inputting IDDQD. Now gamers would have a power of a god and be able to take plenty of damage from enemies but not die. Gamers could then bring down a world of pain on the enemies. It does however take away the challenge of Doom, but in later series of Doom, if gamers inputted IDDQD, they would be rewarded with a message from the developers. However, in the Doom series there are other great cheats such as all weapons, all items, no clip mode and invisibility but it's up to gamers to find them all. As I've said before, try playing Doom in Nightmare mode, but no cheating. Well, that's my top 10, but when it comes to cheating in gaming, I have one rule. That rule is to finish the game first, then go back for a second playthrough, but with cheats. Sometimes a whole new experience can be found when playing with cheats, especially with God mode on. Anyway, come back next time where a certain blue bomber has to stop the other robot masters and a mad scientist leader from taking over the world. Happy Easter, thank you for watching, and see you next game.